Hi guys, so today I'm going to talk to you about the brand new Zeliox Neo 4000. They've actually partnered together with Eberspacher to create this Neo 4000. So I'm going to talk you through what it is, what it does, how we use it in our vans, and why we love it as well. So in complete layman's terms, this is basically an all-in-one battery bank. It contains a battery, it takes the charge from the engine, it can take a charge from the solar panel, it can take a charge from a hookup on a campsite. So all inside here, it has everything you need to run a camper van. You can run your 230 electrics, which is your household appliances, things like induction hob, air fryers, coffee machines, all from here. You can run with your 12 volt electrics, which is typically things like a 12 volt fridge, your lighting, your LED lighting, your pump for your water system. That will all come out of here as well. So we have been using the Clayton Power now for a good couple of years, and actually are going into 95% of our vans, and still a really great system. So this Clayton Power runs very similar to this Zeliox Neo 4000. It creates a completely gas-free conversion because you can run 230 electrics from it. So for example, the induction hob, and it gives people a really off-grid capability. And yeah, always been very popular for us, the Clayton Power, the 2500 and the 3000 mainly. But now this has come to town and actually is very impressive for what they're offering. So Zeliox and Eberspacher have come together. Zeliox have been quite a well-known brand in the charging system market, but I believe have teamed up with Eberspacher, who are a long-term running heating, air conditioning company in the leisure industry, and have got a very good name for themselves for multiple products on the market. So they've teamed up together to create the Zeliox 4000. And actually, it's a very impressive system. It's got an equivalent of a 200 amp battery inside it, which comparison to the Clayton Power is around, well, it's 100 amp on the 2500 or a 160 amp on the 3000. So it's got a bigger battery on that side of things. So this actually has an equivalent of a 200 amp power lithium battery inside it, which in comparison to the Clayton Power, the biggest one they do is a 160. So this is basically more battery storage. So more battery storage equals longer being able to be off grid for, and also alongside the battery storage, what's also important is the output of the device. Well, output and input of the device. So the Clayton Power has the output for 230 volts. So this is stuff for running electrical household items, not 12 volt. So for an inverter, which is what converts 12 volt power to 230 volt power inside the devices, the Clayton Power has 2,300 watts, which is high enough, but for example, the induction hob will start to max out at about that sort of power. So that's kind of its full, at one time that's its full capacity. This has 4,000, so again already bigger at that. So battery and inverter is bigger, so you can then run that and another item as well. Not that you would need to, but yeah, you could run more items at once. So you've got that's bigger. And then you have a peak power. So Clayton Power has a peak power of 5,000 watts. So again, that means that it can jump higher for a certain amount of time to withstand higher power. Again, if the induction hob or a microwave will jump higher initially and then drop down again. So yeah, Clayton Power is 5,000. This has 8,000. So straight away again, there's a much bigger jump there and can then withstand higher spikes in power, which again is quite impressive. And then on to things like taking a charge. So what's also as important is not only what it can put out, it's very important what can be taken into it as well, and the speed that you can regain that power back again. So the Clayton Power off the engine can take around 50 amps, 500 watts, 50 amps from the alternator to recharge the Clayton Power, which it's pretty good, and you'll get a full charge on a Clayton Power in about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, whereas this can take the equivalent of 120 amps, so I think that's 1400 watts roughly. So again, it's taken a much higher charge off the engine, and you can actually set that on the screen as well. And on the shore power, which is your hookup on mains, on campsites, the Clayton Power takes 750 watts, whereas again, this takes 1400 watts on the shore power. So again, recharge will be a lot quicker. The solar input on the Clayton Power max is around 400 watts, whereas this has 1400. So again, a much bigger solar input. So I guess as an all-round there, you can see that with these figures, this pretty much does a lot more in regards to output and can take much higher input. So all round, it's outperformed the Clayton Power quite easily, to be honest. And this is why this has become quite an attractive device to install into our vans. So we've spoken about the facts of the inputs and the outputs, and obviously already established that it outperforms the Clayton Power. And don't get me wrong, the Clayton Power still is a good system, so I don't want to be saying that Clayton Powers should be gone and they're no good. They still serve their purpose, and what we find is the 2500 Clayton Power, which actually we install mostly on our vans, is a really good solution for people that are mainly hooking up on mains campsite, but also want a gas-free solution, because that way the 2500 is quite an inexpensive system in comparison, and it gives you a gas-free conversion, and again, like I said, off-grid if you wanted to for, I don't know, 1 to 3 days, but predominantly it's made for hookups, which we're finding sort of quite a lot of people are more than happy with that. So this really comes into play more so with people that are looking for a more off-grid solution. So for an off-grid solution, we would be offering people the 3000 Clayton, and as we're establishing, this is what we're kind of aiming for, is people wanting more off-grid, not wanting to hook up, wanting to go away for, I don't know, 3 to 10 days to 3 weeks. So it's trying to get as much power as you possibly can, and much storage of battery storage as you possibly can to make it an off-grid camper van. And off-grid is a very broad statement, as we've learned along the way. You can call something off-grid if you've gone away for overnight, or you can call something off-grid that you go away in for 6 months. So it's a very wide spectrum of what off-grid actually is. So, and actually what we've also learned is you don't want to make a vehicle 6 month off-grid, because something in this size, it just won't be usable. You'll end up taking up all the space with battery storage and things like that. So it's trying to get that fine balance between what's enough but not what's too much as well, to then start to jeopardize the space of the conversion and the size of the van. At the end of the day, this is a small van conversion, so it is just being realistic with that side of things as well. So what we, other than the obvious, the Clayton Power and these two together, this one is got better performance capabilities. What we also really love, and what I really love about it, is the interface and the usability of this. So this here is actually comes mounted to the front of the device. That can be removed, extended, and brought over to, well, wherever you want it in the van. And what's really good about this, and again, if we were going to compare it to like our Victron systems that we use in the off tracks, we have what's called a Servo GX Touch, which is kind of how you control the whole system, which is a whole nother video. But this is basically doing a similar thing to what the GX Touch would do, in a bit more of a simpler format. I wouldn't want to dub down the GX Touch because there's quite a lot that goes on with that. But so this basically, on the Clayton Power, you can get a separate control panel, which is effectively just 3 simple buttons, which is arguably a little bit dated looking, which serves a purpose, but it's a little bit dated. And then on the front of the Clayton Power, which normally we find inside here, there's like an analog screen, which again has all the information you need on there, but would argue not the most user-friendly in the world. Yeah, not the most user-friendly in the world. I think there's no two ways about that. So then, yeah, so you've got this really interactive color digital screen, which gives you everything you need to know. So you've got your solar input, you've got your DC charging and your AC load. So these are your 12 volt and your 230 volt buttons that you simply just push from the fascia. You've got settings on here. You can actually adjust the amperage of the charging off the main battery. There's all sorts, and you've got your, well, the most important is your percentage of the battery as well. So, well, time, date, yeah, it's all in this one touch screen. So then you've got, so that comes with the device here, which comes on the thing. So you always get that with the box. But then you can also add this switching panel. So with the Clayton Power, we fit the Savvy screen, which again is a good bit of kit, but I guess the slight frustration there is the Clayton Power and the Savvy screen don't talk to each other. So they're both two independent systems. So you've got your switch panel on the board, which you can switch your lights on and off and your fridge and stuff. And then you have your Clayton Power, which is, as I've discussed, the charging system of the van. But yeah, what's really good about this, you can fit the Zeliox ZC M6, which is basically a switching box that we've actually installed just under here. And you get this very good touchscreen. So again, very quick to respond, very interactive. And this actually all runs through an app on your phone, which you can then configure this completely, change around the tiles, add things, take things away, and again, you can use the app to turn your lights on and off, timers. So there's all sorts really, and again, a very well thought out system. But you also get, just to add to that, this Bluetooth remote, which you can configure on the app. So this is all done through the app again, and you can change this. We set it up in such a way, but you can change this to essentially what you want. And so basically, again, very responsive, all lights off. And this can be mounted somewhere on the side of the van, at the front, at the back. You actually get two of these, so again you get 8 buttons to use to switch from. And again, a really good, handy kind of extra thing that they've thought about, because you don't always want to have to press these ones here. Actually, sometimes it is quite handy to have one on the way in, so you can just turn a particular light on for something. So again, just something simple like that is actually a really handy feature. And what there is talk of development of, hopefully this year, who knows, but they are talking about bringing this all in together, so it's all in one screen, which would be really nice. But again, with this setup at the minute, it works, and there's nothing wrong with it at all. And there's also talk of the Eberspacher heater being incorporated into it, because obviously it's an Eberspacher / Zeliox product. So there is talk of putting those in together as well, to make this then an all-in-one screen system. Obviously stuff like this is always in development, so right now this is what we've got. So unlike the Clayton Power, which is a 2-year warranty, this actually has a 5-year manufacturer's warranty. So again, that's a really good peace of mind for anyone purchasing one of these. So one quick thing to mention is, obviously you've probably noticed it is exposed and open. Obviously for the purpose of the video, it was easy to be able to see it. We do tuck them away normally. The Clayton Powers are normally tucked away behind the unit. But it is a bit of a talking point on this one. We're not sure whether it should be left open and visible. We've had talks about covering it over with a panel, fixing a panel to it, having a removable panel, having a grill of some sort. So yeah, it'd be really good to hear your thoughts. So yeah, pop it in the comments below. So what a lot of you are probably thinking is, what is the price of this new system? So surprisingly, putting the Clayton Power 3000, the supercharger, which is what a Clayton Power you would have to use to get more power from the engine to be equivalent to this, and a savvy screen, which again, because this is all incorporated with this, direct comparison between the two, this actually comes out slightly cheaper. So essentially you're getting a bigger unit, a more powerful unit, a good interface with the LED screen and the touch screen for essentially less money. So it's kind of a no-brainer really. So just to summarize on this Zeliox system, we can incorporate this into any of the off-trail builds that we have. They fit neatly in this position regardless of the bed size. If you're looking for an off-grid system and you're considering the Clayton Power 3000 in one of our builds, then it's definitely worth considering this as well. We've already converted a few people from the 3000 onto the Zeliox 4000 because the numbers sort of speak for themselves really. So yeah, definitely excited to be using this in more of our builds and incorporating it in a lot of our off trails. We might even consider it on the off tracks, but let's see how that one goes. Any questions you've got, please drop them in the comments for us to answer, or contact us. Happy to speak to anyone about these systems, and thank you for watching.